Hi there folks, and welcome to another YouTube video with me, Jason Rouse, talking to you, all things Ouilleann Pipes related. And I was a little bit inspired by digging up that old Richard Lewis O'Meally video, which I put up, I suppose a remastered version, a couple of videos back, and then went on at length to talk about the contrabass regulator, which is a staple of O'Meally's pipe making and his playing. And it got me thinking a little bit about like what pipes are used in films, and you would think that it didn't really kick off until like Titanic in the 90s, but actually there was a lot more sort of films in the old days like that had a bit of Ouilleann piping in them, and I thought it'd be quite nice just to go through them, a few of them, and see some of the films that have pipes in them, and playing around with maybe a couple of tunes that they would have had on there. So yeah, I'm gonna take a brief look maybe at some of the older stuff and then carry on and talk a little bit about some more modern films that used pipes in them. Yeah, why not? Should be a nice chill video. A little bit of piping here and there, bit of history in there. It'll do you good. And before we crack on, just want to say thanks to everyone. I don't know if anyone's keeping tabs, but I just crossed over the 1,500 mark on YouTube subscribers, and I know that's not a lot for some people, but for me it's massive. It's really, really big, and I'm so happy for everyone for helping me cross that milestone. So yeah, big up yourselves, big pat on the back, and yeah, thanks for that. And if you're new to the channel and you've just stumbled across it, yeah, feel free to give it another like, leave me a comment, hit the subscribe button, ring the YouTube bell, bing, so you get like a little notification come through whenever I've got a new video out, and you can enjoy it before everyone else does. Get on the bandwagon early. Okay then, yeah, let's just get started and we'll see how we get on. Talk through some of the weird and wonderful world of Ouilleann pipes in Hollywood on the silver screen, the big screen. So we know about the O'Meally one from last time, The Devil's Rock, the Richard Hayward film. There's another Richard Hayward film called In Praise of Ulster, and it features another Ouilleann piper, not O'Meally this time, but one of his students, Paddy Maxwell, who's playing a set of pipes that's made by O'Meally. And yeah, it's another one of those sort of 1930s kind of weird black and white, half-hour longish films. I'll put a link in the description. You can go and watch it. It's on YouTube if you want to see in the pipings towards the end, where yeah, he plays I think it's the dairy hornpipe.
The thing he had to do was get the piper off to a new start.
But anyway, yeah, fantastic playing. Lovely little snapshot into somebody who would have been taught by O'Meally and then playing a set of his pipes in the old days. It's great. And another piper from around that time who was also big in the films was Leo Rowsome. And Leo did like a load of films. Maybe the most famous one is A Broth of a Boy. Oh no, actually it's just called Broth of a Boy. Yeah. And I used that clip from that one in my old Leo Rowsome unboxing video, I think, or maybe one of the Chanter ones. I'm not sure, but I've used that one as well. Yeah, so Leo was really prolific. He had like a load of films that he was involved with. So yeah, good to see the pipes on the map in the old days as well still. So while Leo was the only piper really doing films, he was there from like the sort of late 30s to the early 60s and loads of stuff. And then we have like a period of like very little piping going on in Hollywood, or not that I could find. I mean, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just like some like highlights. I'm sure there's loads of other stuff out there, but this is kind of what I've come across. Anyway, then we have Braveheart, which is probably what a lot of people have come here to see. Yeah. And with Braveheart, you would be looking at maybe the film that put the Ouilleann pipes back on the map for Hollywood. And I know there's other stuff there. We'll get to them as well. But like, let's open up with Braveheart and we'll talk a little bit about that. Now, this is an interesting one because, well, actually, there's no, because it's set in Scotland, and we know that Scotland is synonymous with the Highland bagpipes, the great Highland bagpipes, and they have a completely different sound to Uilleann pipes, and they don't sound anything like them. They've got this really really forward, rich, like strong sound, and the Uilleann pipes are quite like mellow and sweet, and they're not as powerful. And it's kind of interesting because whenever they were doing the soundtrack for the film, instead of using the Highland pipes exclusively, there's a lot of it done on Uilleann pipes. Alexa, who did the music for Braveheart?
Good afternoon, Jason. The music in Braveheart was composed by James Horner.
Okay, so yeah, Braveheart music was composed by James Horner. I forgot that for a second. Yeah, and the piper on it was Eric Rigler, and Eric Rigler's like American piper, but he plays all different instruments, all different types of bagpipes, and if you hear bagpipes in a film, it's probably him. Yeah, he is synonymous with like sort of soundtrack piping, and yeah, he's all over everything. Yeah, so that's it. If you hear Uilleann pipes on like film, TV, video games, whatever, there's a strong chance that it's probably Eric Rigler. Probably the most like iconic bit of piping in the film is Uilleann Pipes, Eric Rigler, and the name of the tune is Outlawed Tunes on Outlawed Pipes. Isn't that just like the cringiest like edgelord kind of title for a tune you've ever heard? I don't know. Yeah, I'll fight anyone who says otherwise. But anyway, it's a good tune. It's really recognizable. I've had people ask me to play it at like funerals or weddings or whatever. It's kind of synonymous with like Scottish music, and but also like with Uilleann pipes. It's really strange. Anyway, who cares if it's not Scottish bagpipes on the soundtrack? It's actually Uilleann pipes. Sure. Mel Gibson isn't from Scotland anyway. I don't think so. Alexa, is Mel Gibson from Scotland?
No. Mel Gibson was born in Peekskill, New York. Mel Gibson was born in New York. Mel Gibson was born in the United States. And Mel Gibson was born on the 3rd of January 1956.
Thanks, Alexa. Good God. Alright, so maybe I'll give a quick blast on that one, because like, it's a nice tune. There we go. And I'm going to get like a little trick into this video as well, a little mini lesson. What I'm doing with that back D is I'm just venting it with the top finger, and it just gives you a different sort of like a wider sound, just something on your like sort of to mess around with on your tonal palette. And then the E's, I'm just doing like lifting one finger off, so I'm keeping my pinky on for the E's, and it gives you that really like distinctive like Ronan Brown kind of sound that this, yeah, and it's just absolutely sings on this chanter. Yeah, and you can push it in the octave, and you can get like all kinds of crazy, like, amazing sounds out of it. It's like really obnoxious, like a big wall of E hitting you in the face. Yeah, more of that, please. Oh, yeah, I should probably also point out that, you know, you've got like Braveheart, and then there was another film that came out, like is it a Pixar one, a Disney one, something like that, more recently, called Brave. That's also got Uilleann Pipes on it, and that one, the soundtrack of that, they were played by Gerald Henderson, so very cool. Haven't seen the film, have listened to the soundtrack. I'm a massive soundtrack buff, if you couldn't tell. I've got loads of soundtracks, probably too many, and yeah, if you haven't actually seen, I kind of released my own weird soundtrack album, like a soundtrack for a 90s video game that was never made, set in rural Ireland, with like, yeah, lots of like MIDI keyboards and digitized pipes and whistles and stuff. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Bandcamp. Have a go, have a listen. It's on Spotify and things like that as well, whatever your platform is. It's called Frontier Nua. So that's my soundtrack contribution. Okie dokie, let's move on and talk a little bit about another film. This one's going to be Gangs of New York, and yeah, it's a great film. Yeah, really cool film. Nice idea. Big cast. I must have seen it about 1.5 times. I can never sit through it. I always end up like falling asleep or something. But I've seen the start of it loads of times. But yeah, big Irish music soundtrack. I've listened to the soundtrack more than I've actually watched the film. Yeah, there's really like decent Finbar Fury bit on there. But there's also some piping on there from Ronan Brown, who would have been in Afro-Celt Sound System. Well, he was the piper in Afro-Celt Sound System in the early days. And you may have spotted this in the previous bit there, but I've never actually talked about this on my channel before, but I'm really, really lucky. One of the sets of pipes that I use the most, really, is this one here, which is made by Ronan Brown himself. So this is like Ronan's set of pipes that he would have recorded everything with in the old Afro-Celt Sound System days. Maybe I'll just quickly talk about this set because maybe it warrants its own video in the future sometime. But yeah, it's based on like a Johnny Burke type thing. Johnny Burke made a couple of little bits like this bit and some of the other metal bits before he unfortunately died. And then Ronan, along with the help of flute maker Martin Doyle, finished the rest of the set. And they're a super cool set. They're like, yeah, whenever I was a kid, I thought this was like the coolest set in the world. Like this bass bar unlocks here and it comes apart and everything. Very, very cool. And there's 2 chanters. This is one here. It's made by Peter Hunter. It's like super skinny. It's called the Banjo Blaster because it's got a big sound. Very distinctive sound. Yeah, massive tone holes. Yeah, tiny little skinny chanter. Very cool. Very happy to play this, and I do play it often. So Ronan himself has played on loads of movie soundtracks. He's been in loads of things. Worked on, I think, Last of the Mohicans and amongst other stuff. But yeah, Gangs of New York, got a nice bit of piping in it.
5 Points, Paradise Square. Streets here are always lively of an evening.
Who are the gangs around now?
We've got the Daybreak Boys and the Swamp Angels. They work the river looting ships.
So yeah, maybe I'll give it a go on the set and see. I never actually learned this one, but we'll see what happens. Might be hard to do this one without the band, but we'll give it a go. At the end of the track, he also plays one of those, is it Willie Clancy tune? Whatever it is, I don't know. Alright, let's move on to another film. I'm gonna make a little confession here as well. So this is from Harry Potter, and I know that like bits of Harry Potter were filmed in Ireland. There's apparently a bit with the Cliffs of Moher out there, but I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan. I'm not a Harry Potter nerd. I don't really get it. I'm not really sure. And J.K. Rowling's a horrible person as well. Woo. But yeah, so I'm not really a Harry Potter fan. I've seen like the first film maybe once or twice, like 'cause it's always on Christmas time, isn't it, that sort of thing. So I haven't seen all of it, but apparently there's piping in it, and I managed to track down a clip on YouTube of like it looks like a folksy wedding kind of thing, and there's pipes in the background. Apparently the piper is Paul Brennan, and Paul's a piper from County Down who lives in London now, and I haven't really heard much of him. I know that he's done like loads of like weird stuff on there. I don't know if he's got any other like piping things about, but he's credited on the thing on the film for doing the pipes and the arrangements or whatever. So yeah, let's just have a quick look. I have no idea what is happening, but I'm sure Harry Potter fans out there will probably be like, oh, this is the bit where, you know, X, Y, Z happens or whatever, who knows. But yeah, the tune is called East at Glendart. It's a really lovely tune, like a standard sort of session tune, nice little jig. Planksty recorded it, so I'm sure many other people out there have as well, but yeah, lovely tune. Maybe I'll just give that a quick blast, maybe once through or something like that. See how we get on. Alright, East at Glendart. The Harry Potter one. And that ends the Harry Potter section. Now, you could probably do like a whole video going through each and every one of these sort of contributions by themselves, but I'll just sort of keep it nice and light and talk a bit more generally about this one. And we're talking about the Chieftains. Yes. Now, if you're interested in like the Chieftains' contributions to film, they actually have like a soundtrack album of their own where they go through all their, you know, their hits from different soundtracks and stuff. And it's called Film Cuts. So if you want to know more about the Chieftains on film, you can just dive into that album and just like, you know, fill your cup on that. The Chieftains have done loads of stuff, loads of film soundtracks like Treasure Ireland. That's Paddy Maloney would be saying. Treasure Island, Treasure Island, Rob Roy, Far and Away, that awful bloody Tom Cruise effort. What else? Yeah, Barry Lyndon. So yeah, there's probably more out there that I've forgotten, but yeah, there's plenty to pick and go with the Chieftains. Yeah, let me see. I'll do one from the Chieftains as well. Let's do one from Rob Roy. They have this one called O'Sullivan's March. I'll just try and remember the actual title of it. If I don't, I'll just put it in the bit at the bottom. You'll see it, hopefully. All right, the Rob Roy theme, or O'Sullivan's March. Rob Roy was Scottish as well, isn't he? Yeah, that's the drink. It's the Rob Roy is made with Scotch. Oh. Fun one to play. You know what, whenever I was actually researching this, I went onto IMDb and I typed in Outlawed Pipes, and you know what comes up? Bloody me. And not in any films. It's from a podcast that I did, Donny Pilgrim's podcast, a couple of years ago during lockdown, and it's one of the only things that comes up when you type in Outlawed Pipes into IMDb. Isn't that mad? It certainly made this research and stuff from this episode really, really tricky as well. All right, so maybe we'll finish off with the big guns here. It's really weird. We have like a busker in Cardiff who plays like flute, and they only play two tunes. They play the Harry Potter theme and they play My Heart Will Go On, and it just goes around in circles. And no, they do one more actually. I can't remember. But anyway, if I'm walking to work or walking around town, I always hear either My Heart Will Go On flute or the Harry Potter theme on flute, and it does my bloody head in. Anyway, last one we've got here is, it's got to be Titanic, right? Yeah, this is the one that sort of kick-started the sort of 90s Celtic revival, Irish revival amongst, interest into like folk music. And I would even go out there, and say that maybe it was more important than Riverdance or something like that. I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, it was all part and parcel of the whole sort of thing, Outlawed Pipes being back into the scene and being cool and stuff. And I'm sure there's loads of people watching this who got into the Outlawed Pipes through like hearing it on Titanic or seeing the sort of crack that you can have, with a couple other musicians and dancing around in circles and spinning the camera. So anyway, this brings us full circle, I guess, because Piper that we've got here again is Eric Rigler. And yeah, so Eric did like the sort of incidental music, or the soundtrack music for it. But there's also, maybe that like one scene that everyone remembers there being a piper in was when they go below decks and, they're breaking out the whiskies and running around and dancing and having a couple of tunes. And Sean Ryan's polka is playing, the old deet deet. And that one will just forever be like, you know, a tune just to get people into Irish music. Yeah, there's just something about polkas, just like that sort of pace, that time, the rhythm of it, that everyone's like, oh, it's like, yeah, this is really cool, let's go. And it's a good entry-level drug, I suppose, into Irish music. And yeah, I got no qualms about it. I think it's actually a cracker tune. I know it's certainly one of those that people would like to have outlawed, or maybe they're outlawed in certain sessions in, you know, certain parts of the world. I think it's a great tune. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Yeah, I do like it. Planksty did a great version of it as well, obviously. That certainly helps. Anyway, yeah, the band that's playing there, it's not Eric Rigler. I don't know who the piper is. I can't quite remember. But the band is called Gaelic Storm, or Celtic Storm? Gaelic Storm, I think. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, and they basically became like a massive band off the back of Titanic, and did like loads of tours and stuff, and played the same sort of music, and people ran around in circles and lost their heads over it. So anyway, it's good like entry for people to get into music, you know, and once you do that, it's a slippery slope till you're listening to the crinkly old recordings from, you know, Tommy Wreck that nobody's ever heard. And yeah, then you go down the rabbit hole and you get into it like a lot of pipers do. Anyway, yeah, so I'll play that one there. I'll play the little polka. Will Still a Chilly play? Is it Blarney Pilgrim, I think? Maybe I'll play that. I don't know. I'll pick one. Titanic again. Eric Rigler for the music, the soundtrack part of it. And then yeah, Gaelic Storm for the cabin scene, or whatever it's called. I don't know. A bit with the all run around. It's a lot of fun to play. Maybe not at that pace. I don't know. Who knows? I know I've left out loads and loads of stuff here, and I would actually love if I have forgotten anything, people could put a message in the comments like, oh my god, I can't believe that you forgot about this. I do love that actually, and I like being corrected. It's good to know that, you know, you don't know everything about everything, right? But yeah, a few honourable mentions. Maybe there's a film called Kill the Irishman that has Michael Eskin playing pipes on it, and you might know him. He's the guy who does like the Regulator apps or the Uilleann pipe apps on like the iPad and things like that. So Accordions is his brand. Really good stuff. Yeah, fantastic guy. Really cool. Really big fan of just any sort of nerdy, techie, geeky Uilleann pipe related stuff. Into that, also something like, you know, like The Road to Perdition, or I suppose any film that's kind of remotely Irishy that's come out, you know, post Braveheart. Like one that I saw the other day that was kind of weird was what's it called? The Samuel Jackson film, The Negotiator. They have like a funeral scene and they've got like Highland pipes playing, and of course they have Uilleann pipes as the sound instead. Totally weird, but that happens a lot. So yeah, I wouldn't just treat this as like an exhaustive list. There's like loads of other stuff out there, of course, and you know, this is a very recognisable sound, and you'll hear it in the films, and you're like, oh yes, there's Uilleann pipes, and I bet it's Eric Rigler. And so a big thanks if you made it this far into the video. We are now approaching the end, and I just wanted to say, yeah, cheers for everyone who's been part of the channel, you know, from the old days to the new people that just joined. It's absolutely fantastic to see all these, like, you know, people leave me messages or likes, enjoying the videos, everything. It's just fantastic. Yeah, really helps to build our like Uilleann piping Irish music community around the internet, and it's nice to have like a place where we can, you know, we can share our ideas and things like that. And yeah, it's just great, isn't it? It's great. Anyways, yeah, if you liked it, hit like. If you didn't, you can hit dislike if you want. Subscribe, the usual sort of stuff. That's all great. And thanks all very much for sticking through, and I'll see you all again shortly. Cheerio, goodbye. I don't really want to get into the habit of doing like bonus tracks and stuff, but why not just give this one a go. We listened to the soundtrack earlier. Maybe give me some inspiration or something. But yeah, it's cracker soundtrack. It's very Celtic-y, but there's no like actual pipes on it. Lots of the whistles and flutes and fiddling and all that malarkey.